The following video is dedicated in memory of Nichelle Nichols, whom we sadly lost on July 30th, 2022. She will always be remembered as Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek. Well, let's beam ourselves aboard the Enterprise for one last time with the original crew itself, as I talk about Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doohan, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1991 sci-fi flick Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, released by Paramount, directed by Nicholas Meyer, who recently directed the second Star Trek film, The Wrath of Khan. This, of course, is the sixth overall film of the Star Trek series and film series, and the final feature to feature every single member of the cast. Now, however, some would return for generations after this. Taking place after the events of Final Frontier, which ended up being a big disappointment, it is the final film featuring the entire main cast. The destruction of the Klingon moon Praxis leads the Klingon Empire to pursue peace with their longtime adversary, the Federation. And the crew of the Federation starship USS Enterprise must race against unseen conspirators with a militaristic agenda. Now, before I go into my story of this, if you haven't seen my reviews for the other 5 films, I advise you click on that card. That'll take you to the playlist in case you might have missed them or if you want to see them again. Anyway, okay. While you do that as I continue to talk. Despite the commercial and critical disappointment of the last film, the next film was initially planned as a prequel with younger actors portraying the crew while attending Starfleet Academy. But the idea was discarded because of negative reaction from the original cast and the fans. So, they managed to get this out and it did much better. But I'm getting too much of ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and get into the story. In 2293, a shockwave strikes the starship USS Excelsior, commanded by Captain Hikaru Sulu, who discovers that Praxis, a Klingon moon, has been destroyed. The loss of Praxis and the destruction of the Klingon homeworld's ozone layer throws the Klingon Empire into turmoil. The Klingons can no longer afford war with the United Federation of Planets, so they pursue peace. Starfleet sends the USS Enterprise A to meet with the Klingon Chancellor Gorkon and escort him to negotiations on Earth. Captain James T. Kirk, whose son David was murdered by Klingons, opposes conciliation and resents the assignment. Enterprise and Gorkon's battle cruiser rendezvous and continue towards Earth, with the 2 command crews sharing a tense meal aboard Enterprise. Later that night, Enterprise appears to fire torpedoes at the Klingon ship, disabling its artificial gravity. During the confusion, 2 men wearing Starfleet spacesuits beam aboard the Klingon ship and kill 2 Klingon crew members and mortally wound Gorkon before escaping. Kirk surrenders to avoid armed conflict and beams aboard the Klingon ship with Dr. Leonard McCoy in an attempt to save Gorkon's life. The Chancellor dies, and Gorkon's Chief of Staff, General Chang, arrests and tries Kirk and McCoy for his assassination. The pair are found guilty in the trial and sentenced to life imprisonment on the frozen planetoid Ruapenthe. Gorkon's daughter, Azabur, becomes the new Chancellor and continues diplomatic negotiations. For the sake of security, the conference is relocated and the new location is kept secret. While several senior Starfleet officers want to rescue Kirk and McCoy, the Federation president refuses to risk full-scale war. Even if the Federation stands a good chance of winning, Azabur likewise refuses to invade Federation space. Kirk and McCoy arrive at the Ruapantha mines and are befriended by a shapeshifter named Marcia, who offers them an escape route. In reality, it is a ruse to make their arranged deaths appear accidental. Once her betrayal is revealed, Marcia transforms into Kirk's double and fights him, but is killed by the prison guards to silence any witnesses. Kirk and McCoy are beamed aboard the Enterprise by Captain Spock, who has assumed command and undertaken an investigation in Kirk's absence. Determining that the Enterprise did not fire the torpedoes and that the assassins are still aboard, the crew has begun a search for them. The two assassins are found dead, killed by yet another unknown accomplice. To bait the third accomplice, Kirk and Spock announce to the ship that the assassins are still alive and will be interrogated. When the culprit arrives in sickbay to finish them off, Kirk and Spock discover that the killer is Spock's protege, Valeris. To discover the identity of their other conspirators, Spock initiates a forced mind meld and learns that a cabal of Federation, Klingon, and Romulan officers conspired to sabotage the peace talks. The torpedoes that struck Gorkon's cruiser came from Chang's ship, which has the unique ability to fire its weapons while cloaked. Now, I'm going to the ending. You know the procedure like always. You have five seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box, fast forward to the time below if you've seen the movie already. Continue. Okay, you've been warned. Just wanted to get this done. Enterprise and Excelsior race to Khitomer, the location of the peace talks. Chang's cloaked ship attacks and inflicts heavy damage on both ships. At the suggestion of Uhura, Spock and McCoy modify a torpedo to home in on the exhaust emissions of Chang's ship. The torpedo impact reveals Chang's location, and the Enterprise and Excelsior destroy his ship with a volley of torpedoes. The crew from both ships beam to the conference and thwart an attempt on the Federation president's life. Starfleet Command orders Enterprise to return to Earth to be decommissioned. Kirk decides to take his ship on one last cruise and notes in his log that a new ship and crew will carry on their legacy. End of story. So, what did I think of Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country? Well, I gotta say it's an improvement over the last one. Film went on to do much better, going on to make 96 million worldwide. And it got better reviews with publications praising the lighthearted acting, the setting, and facetious references, sorry if I mispronounced it, and performed strongly at the box office. Apparently, it posted the largest opening weekend gross of the series before going on to earn 96 million worldwide. It earned 2 Oscar nominations for Best Makeup and Best Sound Effects, and the only Star Trek movie to win the Saturn Award for the Best Sci-Fi Film. The film has been released on various home media formats, including a special collector's edition 2004, to which Meyer made minor alterations to the film. Yes. And I agree. This is much better than what have you. Let's see. Now, apparently, the special edition here was a special director's cut of the film, though Myers stated he dislikes director's cuts. Nevertheless, found a couple of moments that he thought were not clear, and re-edited them as he suddenly saw how to make them clear. So he did. Now, I haven't seen that director's cut, but if I do happen to encounter it one day, maybe I'll look into it. Anyway, yeah, I really think this was a good movie. And I think this is just so incredible. I thought it's setting and the acting were real good, the references. I think it was really good. Aside from our usual cast, that included William Shatner as Kirk, Leonard Nimoy as Spock, DeForest Kelley as McCoy, James Doohan as Sky, George Takei as Sulu, Walter Koenig as Chekhov, and Nichelle Nichols, whom we sadly lost. I'm dedicating this video to her as Uhura. Also on board with those, which again they were all great. Anyway, joining them on board playing Valeris is Kim Cattrall. Yes, long before this was still a little bit of a ways before she went on to play Samantha on HBO Sex and the City, but she's done lots of other things. Playing Chang is Christopher Plummer, whom we also sadly lost. Well, I think a few months ago. I think it was this. Hang on a second. Well, whom we sadly lost last February. That's it. Okay. I forgot when we lost him. Playing Gorkon is David Warner, who had recently played the human ambassador in the last film. There are several others as well, including Michael Dorn, who played Colonel Worf. Of course, the character is the grandfather of Worf, the character Dorn was currently playing on TV Star Trek The Next Generation. Plus, the late Rene Auberjonois, if I mispronounce that, I do apologize, played the character Colonel West. Later on, he would play Security Chief Odo in the third television series, Deep Space Nine. So anyway, some of the supporting cast was pretty good and what have you. Anyway, the film was a big redemption for the Star Trek franchise. Now, after this, there'd be more to come, which would feature the Next Generation cast, starting with Generations. A few of the original cast members would make one more appearance, including Shatner, Doohan, and Koenig. Now, I was going to review this next time, but I have decided I'm going to reschedule it. Details to follow on when I put up for a new date. Okay, so stay tuned for a new date on that, or I mean on when I reveal it. But anyway, it was really good. The score by Cliff Eidelman was pretty good too. So, with everything said, would I recommend Star Trek VI The Undiscovered Country? I'd say hell yeah. This is definitely worth looking into. If you didn't like Final Frontier, then this would be a much better film for you. I think The Undiscovered Country was absolutely superb. So anyway, what are your thoughts on Star Trek VI The Undiscovered Country? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And while despite I have to reschedule Star Trek Generations for a later date, next time I'm going to be doing a video I had previously rescheduled, and that will be Resident Evil Apocalypse. So be ready for that. So thanks for watching, and if you like this, consider checking out some of these other videos. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of Star Wars The Force Awakens. The upper right-hand corner is well, actually they're all Star Wars re-reviews. The upper right-hand corner is my re-review of The Last Jedi, which got mixed, good reviews, and some people might be a little mixed on that, but I think you get the point. Or if you would like something different from, the space and what have you, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of the recent anime feature DC League of Super Pets. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying see ya and live long and prosper. Bye now.